All right, hey guys, Josh Beecraft here, another 2mm shift. I'm recording a couple of these back-to-back, so I'm wearing the same exact clothes, but that's okay. You'll forgive me, I hope, right? Here's the deal. I'm going to continue where I left off on my time management / energy management situation. So I have another thing that I do in terms of energy management, which collapses into time management. And what this piece of it really is something that I think is really, really important. I've talked about aspects of it on previous videos, but I want to explain it in a little more detail here. And what this truly is at the very core is energy management. If you can manage your energy the right way, you will almost automatically start to manage your time the right way, because you'll have the energy to do it. You're not hitting overwhelm and exhaustion points because you've accounted for certain things. So how do you account for energy management across a spectrum? Well, first you have to know what you need, right? Your body has to be able to move. You're not creating energy sitting still. You have to be able to move your body, even if it's just out for a walk, right? If you can do more intense activity, even better, but you got to get juices flowing in your body to create energy. Now, in the last video, I talked about doing mental activities while doing physical activities to collapse time. What I'm going to talk about now is looking at your overall energy management structure. So in order to do that, you have to know that your body needs something specific, your mind needs something specific, and for lack of a better way to explain it, you as a human need something specific, right? So your mind needs high-level problems to solve. It doesn't need low-level problems to solve. Okay, if it doesn't have a high-level problem to solve, it'll create low-level ones to solve. So you have to understand the mind is always in some kind of problem-solving mode, even if you don't think that it is, even if it doesn't feel like it is, right? There's always something that you're accounting for, even if it's something as simple as do the laundry, right? That's a problem-solving mode, but that's a low-level problem, right? If you're using your mind, which is this powerful, like monstrous, amazing creation of evolution or God or whatever you believe in, right? It's the greatest thing that we have that's known to human existence is the human mind. And if we're going to put it to work on low-level tasks, we're going to see diminishing returns. Now, it's okay if that's what you want. I'm not here to judge whether you are doing it right or wrong. I'm just making an illustration that there's an evaluation there. I'm going to put my mind on high-level tasks or low-level tasks. If it's on high-level tasks, it'll keep trying to solve high-level problems, and those will compound into better time management going forward because you'll free up more free time. You solve a big enough problem, you'll get paid enough money, you'll have all the free time in the world. Solve a big enough problem, you'll create the relationship that you never thought you were able to have, right? All of those kind of things, and your mind can help you do that. So your mind needs the right fuel to sort of set the navigation points in the GPS and find its way to the destination that you're hoping it takes you to, right? Now, there's things that you need as a person as well, and we could argue that this is also stuff the mind needs, but there's certain emotional things. You can't just be go, 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 nonstop 24/7. There are people that can do it, and I've done it many times, but I promise you there's a point where it's really hard to keep that going. And it's okay. Some people push past that. Most people don't, and I'm not asking you to. Rather, I'm going to tell you that there are reasons and ways that people can be in go, go, go without feeling like that. One of the greatest ways to do that is to include some level of social time in your day, right? So I'll give you an example of how I used to do this. Anytime I was going to the YMCA, which I've only recently started going back to, but when I was doing this a lot, anytime I go to the YMCA, the drive time that I had there was my social time with friends on the phone. I'd call up a friend. We'd chat for 15, 20 minutes about anything, right? And then at the YMCA, I went to the YMCA because there was people there and there was different activities there. And like I'd chat and make new connections there. None of it felt like work, but it was all working towards my benefit, right? And I got extra connections for deals through that process. I've built better relationships with friends through that process. And because that fuels your soul back, it doesn't feel like you're working, but you're still working, right? And that's something that you can definitely do. So maximizing your drive time with just pleasant conversation with friends, talking about anything can be a way that you add social time. The other way is you can, if you work on a laptop like I do, you can go to a coffee bar, right? Sit and talk. You'll meet people. Totally fine. I've got a buddy He used to always work in a Starbucks. He met one of the producers of some big TV show, ended up as an executive producer on the TV show because of one conversation in a coffee bar. You know, just things happen when you talk to people. And that happens to compound work. You know, Richard Branson gave advice to somebody one time. They said, what would be your number one recommendation to increase business? And he said, party more. It's because social time matters. It feeds your soul while also feeding your business, while also feeding relationships, so on and so forth. You gain new experiences, new insights, new possibilities, and you're able to take those into the rest of your life. It's part of energy management, right? Because you're amplifying, you're compounding in that way. Now, I've covered physical, right? So you just want to move your body, whatever that is. I like to, this winter I've been a little bit inert. I've been going through some of my own evaluation stuff. But very typically, I like to get up and just go outside and go for a walk, right? As soon as I get up, so I'm like, boom, instantly charging the energy cells, right? In that, I'm doing a mental activity. That's a high-level problem, right? I'm looking for clarity. I'm looking for leverage. I'm looking for insights on something that's a high-level project that I need to be a part of. When I sit down to go work on that stuff, my mind is focused on it because I've juiced that whole thing with energy. So I've got the room to move through these things, right? My particular situation is around midday. I'll feel a dip in my energy. Well, what do you think I do? That's when I go and do more exercise, because exercise builds more energy, even if it's just a walk. So I'll open that back up. I'll do social time with a friend, right? Instead of working on a high-level problem later in the day when my energy's different, I'll work on a different way of solving that problem, which is feeding back in through, like I said, social time. The other part of this that's really, really important, and it's one of the habits that's harder for people to get a handle on, but it's knowing how your diet's affecting you. If you know that if you eat a bag of potato chips, 30 minutes later your energy crashes, don't do that, right? Like, it's really simple, ultimately. We know that a lot of foods make us feel a certain way. We just go, oh, it's okay to feel that way. That's what food does to us, right? No, that's not what food does to us. That's what the food we eat does to us. There are foods out there that will make you alive, period. Now, it might take a couple weeks. You might have to build some habits. I get it. There's a whole diet and wellness industry. Trust me, I work with one of the best doctors on the planet, like objectively best doctors on the planet, under the topic of health and weight loss and performance. He does all the doctoring for the U.S. Special Forces and military. Like, this guy is amazing. I promise you, there's a way, no matter what your body type is, to figure out what works for you to just amplify energy, compound longevity. And when you're able to do all of those things together, everybody experiences a better version of yourself. You're going to show up better to your personal relationships, whether that's your kids or significant other or whoever. You're going to show up better in your work relationships. You're going to produce better work product. You're going to feel better in your own body. You're going to be more confident than you've ever been. And you're going to have more friends than you ever had before because you're actually nurturing those things. And if you could throw one other piece onto this that I really loved, and I picked this up from phase 3 of 75 Hard, it's these two things are really, really cool. Intentionally have a conversation with a stranger every day, because it opens up a different dynamic in your world. It's not controlled in that way. You're controlling that you're doing it, but like, that conversation can go anywhere, right? And it's new and it's interesting. So the way I measured that is like, did I learn something from that person, even if it was something meaningless, right? And the other thing you can do is do some kind of act of charity. Pick up trash when you see it. I know I go walking in these trails, or running a lot of times in these trails, and I was constantly picking up trash, and I realized one day that somebody was watching me, and they watched me pick up a couple pieces of trash, and I watched them as they went to their car. They seen a piece of trash on the ground, and they picked it up just because they saw me do it, right? And like, there's also a goodness to just knowing that you're doing something good for the sake of doing something good. Those things fuel the soul, the spirit, all of that. It all compounds into energy management. So here's what I want to tell you. If that all sounded complicated, I promise you it's not, but I want you to take it one step at a time. And the real key here is to monitor yourself and know your energy pattern in general. You know your energy pattern better than anybody. In fact, you're the only one that knows it, right? So like, if you know that you're sluggish in the morning, try doing something like activity first thing instead and see if you're still sluggish. You'll probably not be, right? So boom, you just changed the whole thing. That one thing, if you did nothing else, would change the rest of your day in terms of how you manage energy. So just take it one bite at a time. Let's try this. Okay, let's see if this social time works. Who's some friends that I can call, right? Have a list of friends you can call on any given time. If one of them doesn't answer, no big deal. Call a different one, right? Know where you can do activities that will amplify your social time, right? And you notice most of the things that I said here wasn't about work, but I promise you your work productivity goes through the roof. You'll get more work done in a couple of hours than you were getting done all day before because you've nurtured all these other parts of yourself. All the systems are moving in unison. So this is one of the biggest time management hacks that I have. I know it seems a little complex. I promise you it's just not. You just have to stick to a rhythm and understand what you're doing with each piece of that rhythm and be strategic about it. This isn't just a 2 millimeter shift. This is a lifestyle shift. This is one of those things that if you plot your trajectory before and after this moment and you stick to it, the scale can go back the other way, right? Like it doesn't just go down this timeline. Like it literally like loops back and goes to an even better place. And that turns into just a healthier, younger, more energetic, lively version of yourself that can conquer the world in ways that most people can't because you're doing things that most people don't understand how to do. Hopefully that's helpful. I'll look forward to seeing you guys on the next 2 millimeter shift. Enjoy.